Hi everyone on YouTube. This is Na again, making another one of my live come alive YouTube stream. And yes, I am making an exception to my rule and eating on camera. Because I'm hungry. Plus it's downtime for me from writing my paper for psychology. And for the most part, I'm assuming when most people watch YouTube, right, they're probably laid back, kicked back on their sofa or bed, snacking on something. You know, it's not serious, right? And pretty much that's the tone that I want to take on my channel. On my channel, we might talk about serious things, but I don't. I have a very laid-back personality, and I don't take things really, that seriously or stress out over it, because it doesn't help, especially right now. So anyways, might I add, you guys might want to join in eating with me. You will hear noise background. It's the baby's crazy hours before they fall asleep. That's what they do. So I just pretty much let them. So just wanted to update. Okay, I just wiped up more of Besitos. You know what? And they're better. They're better. They have, somewhat of a shape to it. Before it was just sprayed all over the place. So I see, it's promising there. But to the point, as we were taught in presentation in college, everything in life happens for a reason. And everything in life, I believe, happens for a reason. And I wiped up some more, but it was less. These are good signs. There's more shape, less good signs. The litter box, when I examine it, it's pretty much, less stinky, less splatter, right? So these are good signs that my efforts to keep their water clean, apply what everybody's teaching us, right? Wash our hands, which I just did, right? But let's clear up the confusion. That is food that's been recalled from salmonella, right? Which the brands that she has, which is from Vaughn's, Signature Pate, these other stuff, they're usually Rachel Ray. They're good ones. They're good ones. They're not on the list of recalls, okay? And a lot of these recalls are like in other countries, like Britain, all right? So let's not get all paranoid. But like I said, I believe everything in life happens for a reason, so you can learn from it. And if it's constantly happening over and over in your life, and you find history repeating itself. You know the saying, history repeats itself until we've learned our lesson, right? And if it's happening over and over again in your life and other people's life, and my last dog died from it. Besito's just born now. Her babies are suffering it. And now as I'm looking up subject on matters on that, I find there's other people, a lot of other people and animals that are suffering the same issue and are in the same situation. So what should we do, right? What should we do? One, utilize YouTube to put the words out there, warnings, right? This food is causing this to my dog, right? Be a witness to what's going on. That's halfway to winning any case. And if you could take it off the platform of YouTube into a lawsuit, most definitely. Because these dog foods, according to one of the videos I uploaded, they had some ingredient in it that they know is going to kill your dog over time, and they still put it in the dog food. I think it was a video of a natural food company for pets, and she was mentioning one ingredient. There's a lot of YouTubes about how to make your food for pets, save money and save your pets' lives. Finding all this is disturbing, but it's also a relief for me because there was a part of me when my last dog, monkeys, come with it. I'll spray you. When my last dog died, this is her photo, I'll show you. I had a lot of guilt. My cutie. Besito's my queen, but she's the bitch. She's very jealous. If you know her, she's very jealous. And she's just sharing my heart with Besito's and the baby. She's the main player. Let's just put it that way. You don't want to play with her. She will bite you. She will bite you, and she has a thing where she likes to bite men, who likes to hit on me when I'm not interested. She likes to go for their right here jugular. She's not somebody to mess around with. But when it happened to her, I was frantic, right? And there was a lot of, I was, I had to administer aid to her. And, I was trying to be strong and not cry and be a mom. But afterwards, I had a lot of guilt. And, a lot of stupid people, like in my videos that always interrupt me, put the blame on me because they didn't know that there are, actual causes for that. Where the pet, I know there's one video in Britain where they were not even placing out warnings, but it was dire warning that the animals were losing like blood counts, and with that they can't breathe, and they like crash on you all over food. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Hold on one second. They're getting out of control. Monkeys. You want me to spray? Come and take. I expect monkeys to play, but not crazy. Okay. You can play, but keep it down low. Monkeys. Okay. Play, but you don't need to turn the house upside down. Thank you. So anyways, now that I'm doing research and hearing that there are other pets that were in similar situation and other people, and it is directly related to food and the ingredients in food and specific companies that are making these food, knowing that it's making your dog sick and die. Okay, like my previous video, they were saying something about how there was an ingredient in there with the letter B. I can't even pronounce it, and that's the rule of thumb. If you, right, if you can't pronounce it, don't buy it. If you look at an ingredient, right, or you make it, you're like, oh, I recognize it. I put rice in there. I put chicken in there. I put some fibers, maybe some vegetables, right, to harden their poop. You can pronounce it, you buy it. You know it, right? If you don't know it, don't buy it. So my previous videos, the girl that's makes natural food, because not everybody has time to cook for their pets, but it's better. Usually you just cook it or put it in the microwave, the refrigerator, and it's even better, right? Take it out, heat it up. They can eat it and you can eat it. You save money and you're saving their life. And you're in control and accountable. She was saying that there was an ingredient there with the letter B that I can't pronounce. That's the culprit. And this particular chemical is used to euthanize pets. As to why the hell they would put that ingredient in dog food, knowing over time that it will, hurt any animal, that's just crazy. How I see it, because my dad was a professor in pharmacy, I tell people, if you think your stuff works so good, you take the first bite. Try it. You be the first one to try it. Right? So my heart and condolences goes out to anybody who's ever lost a pet due to, recalled food, expired food, foods in question, and their dog suffered in any way and they lost their pet. My heart goes out to them. But what I want to say is it doesn't stop there, right? We need to let people know this is happening. And there's a direct correlation, right? In almost every country, every case, everybody's saying it's food. Put up a fight. Because the Bible says that. The Bible says we are in a battle. Coronavirus pandemic is probably the biggest battle of the United States and around the world. So you need to approach it as such, right? And for all people out there, persons, entity, that dares challenge me or God, I accept the challenge. And I assure you, I'm going to put up a fight, right? And the way I fight, I don't mess around. One of my things that I tell everybody, my mind game, I don't have any. So game is already over as far as I'm concerned. None of this shit should have happened in the first place. So approach everything with a fight. Throw it out there on YouTube, what your cats are eating, what's happening, your pets, dog, pets, whatever, guinea pigs, rabbit, what they're eating, what's going on. Place a warning, witness to what's going on, and then, lawsuit. Put up a fight. Because you know what? They can't. They can't. Okay? Now that Besitos has babies, I realize how very precious life is. And I think people forget on planet Earth, like we are the only planet that has life. And what a precious commodity that is. And how very precious and delicate it is. These babies remind me how very delicate it is. And, my stance, because my dad was part of the head of the health agency in Vietnam, I'm big into health. You know why? First and foremost, because my family background and because I get sick a lot. So I'm big into health. And a world, that just pursues wealth and they're doing wrong to people's health. That's so wrong. That's so wrong. And I'm here to fight back on that issue. Okay? So anyways, I came back to let you know, Besito she was sleeping earlier, which is good. I played her some soothing, healing, cat music with certain frequencies. So, it's supposed to, it's like music therapy, right? Because the good thing is that they have me as a mother, and I will fight for them to the death. Also, I study holistic medicine, right? So a lot of it is home remedy, right? So I play therapeutic music at a certain frequency that is supposed to relax them and heal their body. And, I resort to a lot of medicinal or holistic, which means natural. I'm going to try to lean towards better natural food and making food for them. Staying away, right, from cleaning my home with chemical agents that might irritate them. And, a lot of holistic, right, is massage, right? Reiki, like praying over them, healing energy, and all that good stuff. It works. A Besito is doing better. Let's just put it that way. And I thank God. I praise God for it. All right. If you think that, right, it happened because of you, no, it's God. I think that's the problem with the world. The world isn't just about you and me. We left God out of the equation. And that's why all this bad thing is happening, essentially. People just don't care anymore. Like I said in my previous videos, it's really sad in a world where another day you hear somebody dying, right? Somebody got murdered. It's almost as if we become immune to it. What's another dead person? What's another, you got thousands of birds falling out of the sky. Oh well. To me, it's insane. I don't accept it. I reject it. I reject the world. I reject wealth, right? I reject worshiping any other God than the creator, the one creator that created everyone, which is the antithesis of all bad things, right? And that was what makes him God. But I wanted to come back on to do a fun video, right? And enjoy my Italian sandwich from Bond, very good. I added mayonnaise, Trader Joe's, and I sprinkled some salt. Onion salt's really good. So, I decided to come back on and do a fun video, okay? So, along with the Don't Hate Asian, just to prove to everyone, because I could give a damn about Facebook, I don't hate Asians. So we're going to make a video tonight, a fun one, where I'm going to list the reasons why you shouldn't hate Asians, right? All right. And just to clarify, for people who makes accusations that I hate Asian, they're just stupid. One, I have a right to feel the way I do. I have reasons. I do not have to explain that or disclose it to people. And two, if I really did hate Asians, I must hate myself because I am from Asia. I am from Saigon, Vietnam, which is now communist Ho Chi Minh City. I was born in Saigon Hospital. Both of my parents are Asian. And on my dad's side, everybody's Asian. Okay, my mom's side is a little bit, they're interracial and white, mostly white. So that leads to my next point. Okay, let's clear that off the table before we have a fun discussion. Through my mind, I was just thinking before I jump back on, how do you differentiate Q&A, somebody racism, and somebody that's a racist, right? In your own words, just like my research paper. And I was thinking about that in relationship to the video I make tonight about why we shouldn't hate Asians. Things I do like about Asian people. Because I am from Asia. To me, I don't know about you guys, but racism is, yes, there's different race, right? In a simple term, you want to compare it to color, black, white, browns, yellows. I don't know what color, right? Arabic people get, right? So there's race, right? So like for me, racism is when you create divisions. It's like, yes, there's race, but racism is when you build a wall, when you create divisions, right? It's different. It's like, yes, we have America and then we have Southern America, right? Tijuana. And you build that wall. And why a lot of Latino community are angry is because throughout history, the United States didn't have a quota on immigration. They were pretty much telling the Mexicans, go ahead and come on over because we need you to work for us on the farms, which were not the best condition. They didn't have a quota on immigration. And now it's like, build that wall, right? And they have different Trump. They have different, make sure they can't climb up of it. And what's funny is I saw on YouTube where Donald Trump was claiming that this wall, he can't right? You can't scale it. You can't dig a hole under it. You can't drill through it. You can't go around it. There was a video of a Hispanic man. He scaled it, and it was up way up, but he was crawling up the wall, so it was pretty funny. Um, but you can see the anger and perhaps the stance that a lot of Latino, um, you know, they take their stance, not only in Santa Ana, but anywhere else, right? It's like, we're Mexican, don't mess with us. Because throughout history, they've been walked on. So to me, that's how I define racism, right? Yes, this is your race, but racism is when we create divisions with those race. And that's what they ask all the time. In a political arena, in a sociological arena, in a religious, right? What's your race? Are you black, white, Latino, not of Latino descent? Are you Korean, Asian, Pacific Islander, or others? I guess I'm assuming others is like if you're Armenian or Arabic or something like that. And then mixed race, or you refuse to comment, which is, I choose that because my stance is, and I get it a lot, where do you come from? And I'm really tired of answering that to people because to me, it's like, why do you need to know that? It's more important where we're going in life. I created up that, and I own it. I'm proud of it. I want people to focus on, especially in the year 2021 coronavirus pandemic. It has torn the world apart, but it's also brought the world together because we have more compassion. We realize that even though we're a different race, we're all suffering together. And, I see people where they drop that race stuff because they're like, you know what? They're suffering just like me. They can get sick just like me. They can die just like me. We're all in the same boat. And I really have a saying that I told my social worker a while back. She's like Armenian, Russian, whatever. And she didn't take it seriously to what I said, but I did. I had a saying that after the tsunami hit Japan, she acted like she could care less because she's Armenian, Russian, whatever. But, when that incident happened, right, I was freaking out. I was, telling my siblings, tsunamis hit Japan because it was bad. It was so bad that the waves came in and not even the cars could escape because it was going about 500 miles per hour. It was bad. But my social worker, ironically, she acted like she could care less. Right? Because they're Japanese and she's Armenian and Russian. Who cares? But, I had a saying and I said, the world is like a spider web. And I said, when one person hurts, it's as if we all are hurt, right? Like you see an accident on the street, and it stops everybody. And everybody's like, what's going on? Who got hurt? And they want to take pictures and they want to help out. When somebody's hungry, it's as if we're all hungry. That's why there's a food shortage. And you hear about starvation, right, in Africa. And the church and the missionary are trying to go out there and help people. Bothers them. And, recently with the people losing their job and being told to get in when they're told to be evicted. Crazy, crazy. I tell myself, when somebody's homeless, it's as if we're all homeless. It's as if we're all homeless. What do I mean by that? Okay, I can't speak for other people, but I just got the Presidential Volunteer Award helping the homeless at Mary's Kitchen. And I'm not homeless. And I'm not a criminal. As Google art will try to portray the homeless people, which some are. There's bad apples. But what I mean is any one of us can be dumb, right? SOS in Costa Mesa, they give emergency fund and treatment, right? And I've seen people line up there in the wee hours of the morning, and they tell me, I used to have a job. I used to have a home. My life used to be good. Things happen. And guess what? It can happen to anybody. And you realize you could be homeless too. That's what I mean. But to me, racism is just not just your race. It's when in a society and politics, right? In religion, right? Especially religion, right? Racism. Think of racism, kind of sounds similar to division, right? And that's contrary to what the cross, right, teaches about bringing things together at the cross. So that's my definition of race. Is yes, whatever race you want to identify yourself with. And now it's gotten to where I get those stupid surveys. I just tell them, they ask me what I identify myself. I said white. Because most of my life I grew up with white people. So I don't put Asian if I do identify myself with something. And then racism is division, right? Racism, division, sounds very similar because it is. And then somebody who's a racist, right? What do you think that sounds like? To me, I'm thinking a cis. You have a cis. Nobody wants that, right? The same thing in society. It's when you have somebody that's a racist, to me, they're a cancer to society. And to me, a racist pretty much is somebody who, yes, they have a race and they agree in division, but somebody who's a racist is different. They believe their race is above other people's race. Okay, top of the list, white supremacists. They're racist and proud of it. Ku Klux Klan, right? KKK, skinhead, neo-Nazi, Adolf Hitler, right? Racist. And I did a research in my astronomy. I think the professor asked what I liked best about the class. And I said the explanations of color. Visible light versus infrared, invisible light. Specific to what is white light. Okay? So what is white? First and foremost, it's a light, it's not a person. So there is no such thing as a white race. And I have white in my family, so who cares, right? Doesn't mean you're better. And what I tell people that's ironic is sometimes when I get a racist person, a white person here in the United States, like bother me, they don't realize I have white blood in my family line too. They're just in Europe. See? So I think the America, the free, right? It's like, is free where you could do that? No. Not in my book. Usually when I confront somebody like that, it's pretty much game over for the rest of their life because, like I said, I don't mess around. The first girl that ever bullied me, she was white and she was a big girl, compared to me. And, I just came from Texas, which is very redneck. I just got off of Facebook and I found a whatever, like support the blue in Lubbock, Texas, which is where I came from. And yeah. And I think I made a comment that I used to come from Texas and they deleted the comment. They're a very redneck community. Okay. Still. But the very first girl that ever bullied me coming from Little Rock, Arkansas to Texas to here, she was a lot bigger than me. And she kept on calling me a nip, right? That's derogatory for a Jap in my PE class at Alamitos Junior High in Garden Grove. And there's a reason why people say it's Garbage Grove, because of people like her. In other states, people are very well cultured and they don't behave like that. I don't think people in California realize how crazy they are until you live like in the country or other states, United States, and you realize like the people here are like crazy and they look like zombies, like on drugs, right? Out of a zombie movie, a Walking Dead zombie. I'm just laughing because it's true. And they're coming up and they're like, we're going to get more drugs, right? And like, their skin is falling off of them. The teeth are gone. Their hair, I want more drugs. You have to see the humor in it. They already look like The Walking Dead and they're looking for more drugs. I think it's comical. So she called me a nip and she kept on saying that in PE class, and I don't know what that word means. I didn't know it was derogatory for a job. And she followed me after school, kept on saying that. And her worst mistake was asking me if I wanted to fight. And so, I thought to myself, why not? It's a good day for a fight. And I can tell you I'm smaller than her, but I'm very strong. And what's wrong, Cito? Drink the water, go outside, play, baby. I'm making an exception for Besitos to go out just to air dry her buttocks area and hopefully roll around in the sand. Just like, just getting out will help her heal. So anyways, her worst mistake is asking me if I wanted to fight with her. And all I thought was, why not? I don't see why we can't. So even though I am smaller than her, I'm very strong. And usually when I fight, I'm kind of like, what's that movie, Alien Predator, right? Uh, where the alien, they just see, right? They see moving human beings. So usually when I fight somebody, I don't care if it's a girl or a guy. To me, they are just a target that I need to take out. Right? And so she said, do you want to fight? And I said, yeah, sure. Her and another skinny ass, another white girl. And I said, okay, you want to fight? Let's do it. Before she could even lay her hand on me, I basically took her down by the hair and took her to the ground. Because you know why? Laws of physics, the heavier you are, the heavier you fall. And it's not to her advantage. I took her down by the hair, and down she went. And I think it's your purpose in a fight. It's harder than a punch. So what I wanted to instill in her was that you're not going to pick on me, right? And if you make it out of this fight, you're not going to pick on other people, right? Without remembering this. So I took her down by the hair, and down the ground she went. When she went down, I decided to kick her back up by her stomach. So it was like me, putting a hammer to her stomach. And then thereafter, I took some Hapkido, Korean kickboxing, where we owned our skills, on doing stuff like that, using your feet as a weapon, kind of like a hammer, right? The hammer has a front part and the back part has the two. We learn to use our feet as weapons, right? So down she went, I kicked her up. And then when she went up, I basically, instead of punching her with one hand, I put two hands together, like you're holding a bat. And I popped her in her back. And, that's when she started crying. She said that, her back was already screwed. Boo-hoo. Keep in mind who wanted to fight me. She did, right? But, I told myself I need to deal with her so she knows not to bully me and other people, right? And what's the dangerous thing about me is I'm not afraid, you see. I think that's something people who are bigger think smaller people, we're probably afraid, not me. I'm like one of those kids, they have no receptors to pain. I'm not afraid. And so if any race who try to instill fear in me, it doesn't work. It's like you turn on fire. Some kids don't feel it. So usually when I'm in that mode, I don't remember what I did. There's really not stopping me from doing what I'm going to do. And all I know is I had her begging for me to stop. And I did stop, but the reason why I stopped wasn't for her. I told myself as a juvenile, if I kill her, right, I'm going to end up in jail. So for that reason, I stopped. And she was still laying on the ground. Telling me how she's going to tell her dad on me. Keep in mind who wanted to fight. She did. So I said, go ahead. Tell your dad. I'll do the same thing to your dad. When I was a juvenile, let's just say I was a punk. I told her, go tell your dad. Same thing's going to happen to your dad and your whole family. So you learn your lesson, not to be stupid with me. But why did she do what she did? Because she thought she was better. She thought she was bigger. She thought she's white here in the United States than anywhere else in the world. She's better. And she learned otherwise really quick. And to this day, usually when I deal with people like that, they try to be like all badass, right? And then I go and I kick their ass. It's like usually they don't want to ever talk to me again. It happens. It happens all the time to me. And I get some bitch on the street. She thinks she could be a bitch, run her mouth. I give it back to them. I'll say something, cut open their throat, with what I have to say. And they're like, they can't talk. And then usually when I see them again, they don't want to talk to me. Pretty much ever again. Because you know what? You can be a bitch. But guess what? I'll be there right behind you to cut your throat open and end it. That's the way I function. Why? I mean, I'm not out to play around with these clowns, right? So, to me, what I learned in astronomy, what I got most about astronomy is to study about light and infrared, invisible light versus visible. And where those lights are coming from is coming from our atmosphere. It's not coming from you. Okay? So what does that mean? People who think they have blue eyes, right? You don't. You don't. Blue eyes have brown melatonin, things that make up your skin, your nails, your hair, right? It's brown, not blue. What is perceived as blue in blue people's eyes is how the blue rays enters our atmosphere and hits the eyes. The less melatonin, the more light blue. The darker, you will see a darker blue. But it's not coming from them. It's coming from our atmosphere, right? So anybody who claims, right, they're blue-eyed, blonde hair, they're superior race, German. No, you're not. Okay? You're not. And guess what? There are people in China, and the population in China is way bigger than the United States. The United States is bigger than Germany, that are blue-eyed and blonde hair. So you're not a superior race. China has proven in many ways they are superior. Fact. So what is white light in relationship to what I'm saying? White light, okay, it's not a person. People need to stop saying, I'm white, I'm white. No, you're not. You're not. You're not a light. You're a person. Okay. And what is white? White is the color of the rainbows: red, orange, yellow, purple, red, orange, green, right? Red, yellow, orange, green, purple, blue. They're the rainbows in that order. It's through a prism, okay? So it has to be a certain lens. Like, you know, you have your eyeglasses. There's different types. Some might go like this, some might go like this, some might go like this, and then like this. So you're talking about triangular shape. The visible light, right? Red, orange, yellow, purple, green, blue, okay? Those are the primary minus the secondary and tertiary. So I'm talking about, it doesn't include magenta. And magenta is one of the, I learned in my astronomy, magenta is one of the interesting bands, right? Wave frequencies. So light is just wave frequencies up and down coming from our universe. It's not you as a person. And then it hits a triangular, right? When those visibles light, the rainbow is bent straight and X is out, that's white, okay? Not a person, obvious. Yeah, so I don't know why till this day you still have people saying, I'm white, I'm white. You know, it's like, no, you're not. You're not just a light. So therefore, if this was some theoretical, and I'm not to debunk that, right? Therefore, there is no such thing as a black man. Okay? Why is that? Because you need to know what black definition is. Black, right? Like in the movie Michael Myers, they said like he likes black because he's dark and he's evil, you know, and I've definitely proven with my paper that that's not the case, right? He might be somebody that displays catatonia, right? And there might be other factors to his killing and family, right? So what's black? Black is void of light. It's very simple. Black is void of light, all right? Therefore, void of the visible rays. So therefore, there's no such thing as a black man. If there was, there would be no light emanating from his body, you know, which that's not the case. Most black people, they are by far the most colorful. I always say they're the most colorful, like when they dress to go to church, you know, and a lot of them, I know a lot of them have a thing for Asian, right? Like kung fu, and they like jackets with dragons and stuff like that. They're very colorful. Rappers, right? They're very colorful. There's no such thing as a black man. How I know at 54 minutes? The black hole will prove to you, now that's black. Okay, so what is the black hole? Which most people don't know. And if people know, they would realize how very stupid they sound when they say I'm white. Right? Like, I'm white. White is the color of my wall. I'm pretty sure they want people to see them more than just a color of a wall, right? But to this day, it's still used. So let's examine black, and we did, in relationship to the black hole. What is the black hole? Do most people know? Well, fortunately, I got a chance to study it. And that's when I go around and tell everybody this. Now, as to whether white people like it or not, I could care less. It's a fact. I don't care how they feel. The black hole is actually bigger than the sun. Okay? The sun is bigger than all of our planets combined. Major, massive, folks. So what is the black hole? It is a very big space in space. It has no light. And because of how massive it is in relationship to the sun, light is trapped in and it can't get out. That is how massive it is. That is black. Okay? Black hole. And then you have to know what causes that. A lot of it is, how the planets have the satellites, right? And those satellites are made of rocks and stuff, right? And Earth, a lot of times when I started class, I thought Earth was only one gravity shared by everything. No, gravity on Earth is different than gravity on the moon, different than gravity on the sun and everywhere else. But the gravity and the cause of the black hole is massive. And a lot of it is the materials in that area that's causing this trap where lights can't. It's like you being hugged. The lights are stuck in and they can't leave. That's black. Okay? That's not African American people. So, all due respect to African Americans who played a big part in fighting for equality in the United States and for people to see them for who they really are. Even one movement in U.S. history, the African American people went around wearing a sign saying, I am a man, right? Whatever I am a man, right? They're not an ape. They're not black. We need to drop that. But in relationship to Galileo and everything else, you guys can see how far and wide stupidity, right? Even the Bible said that. In the end time, the devil, he can make his darkness like an illuminating light. So how do you combat that? Talk to God and apply my art to being smart and actually do some research so that when you speak, you know what the hell you're talking about and you don't make a total embarrassment of yourself. So if anybody's interested in knowing what kind of white I have in my family, I have white in my family too. That's what you want to call them. Most of them are in Britain. I have boy cousins. They have one sister that's Belgium, right? And I have some in France that are with, two dads previous from Vietnam, right? So my cousins in Vietnam are more Asian, more Vietnamese than the ones in France that has a French dad. So they're in Vietnam, and the rest are here in America. and 2 of them are married to Americans, right? Their kids do not look white, or their mom. Their kids looks very dark. And I think one went to Santa Ana College and studied to be a first responder. And then my niece, right? My niece, she's Armenian. And so pretty much I identify with the white race, and there's, you know, that's all the mix in my family. But I have an adopted cousin, right? And her previous guy was Mexican. So her daughters are Mexican and Vietnamese. Yeah. So pretty much when people try to play that race thing with me, it doesn't work. Because in my family tree, I pretty much have everything. Mexican, white. I had one guy that was interested in me. Just to show you race doesn't matter. He was Italian, Polish, and Black, and Vietnamese. So, you know, when I have this other Amerasian guy who is Vietnamese and Spaniard from Ithaca, Greece, pick on my boyfriend who is pure Italian, I didn't like that because I love my boyfriend because I love him. What does his race, right, have to do with anything? And the only reason why this other Amerasian guy that's half Vietnamese and Spanish tried to throw my boyfriend under the train is he just wanted to have sex. You know, it's crude, it's rude, it's what men do. And you know what? I stand more with my boyfriend for that reason. Actually, there was 2 of them. One was a younger Amerasian and one was older. And this older Amerasian, he was interesting. He was mixed white, but he looked like ZZ Top. Like, he looked like as white can be. You can't even tell if there's any Asian in him. So when I hung around him, or when I first met him, I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. And yes, he is. He spoke, you know, he was showing off his Vietnamese on LinkedIn with me. And yes, he is. He showed me a photo of his mom, and his mom looks just like my mom. It's, you know, just some Amerasians, they do not look like, you know how some Amerasians you could tell they're part Asian, and then there's some you're just like, yeah, I can't tell at all. I had one friend in personal training school. She's part Filipino, and you wouldn't know it. Blue eye, blonde hair, white, you would not know it. And everybody in her family looks just like me. You know, black hair, tan. So, you know, I think that's how you're going to know, right? You know, I really believe if you know, the truth will set you free from misinformation. But I'm here to teach you the art of how to do that, right? So don't take offense to it. Don't take offense to it. And now I'm going to do the fun part of the video, but to the start, I'm going to say if anybody who hates Asian, it's Facebook. Okay? Because although China banned Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg said he doesn't want to service China. Okay? Now, however way, right, if that is not right, well, where he service other races, but you know, and he has like a Vietnamese Chinese wife, but right, the rest of China is excluded. So who really hates Asian? Right? True colors, come through. What I mean by that is recently I was at a sushi bar, Sankai in my area, love it, just to prove I don't hate Asians. One of my favorite sushi hangout places. If you're ever in California, near South Coast Plaza Mall, Bristol and Sunflower, Sankai, best Japanese, real Japanese chef making it. Go see my friend. They're best. And I was with a white lady, and she was saying whatever. She's from the Netherlands or whatever. And, she was a little drunk and just crude and rude. And, the guy next to her, I thought it was her husband, but she was totally like hitting up on him, grabbing her breasts like this. It's just really weird. And, I understand she's drunk, but for the most part, she was white and she was like saying she's from the Netherlands, whatever, older lady. And, I was trying to enjoy my sushi. And if you know anything about Japanese culture, they like to eat in silence, right? Didn't help. She was there talking throughout my whole meal. And the thing she was talking about was very racist. She was asking me what my race was, had nothing to do with me being there having sushi. And I said, I'm Vietnamese. And then after I told her I'm Vietnamese, she thought I was Indonesian. I'm like, whatever. Obviously, you're not even paying attention or get Asian people. And then she's just so stupid. Like I showed her the new device that I got from T-Mobile, where you could charge it in the wall and lay your device on it if your device is that friendly. And I was showing off because otherwise it's two, right? Well, they made a new one and they put it together. She said she doesn't get it. So what I wanted to say in psychology, when an individual, and they're usually racist, right? They only see their side, right? Right? They think they're racist up here and they're not going to see anything else. According to psychology, somebody in that state of mind is underdeveloped, okay? Because that's something children do, right? They want it their way. They see things their way, right? Another research is where they took a cookie, one cookie, and they broke it up. And in the kid's mind, he thinks he's getting more cookie. And you're not going to change his mind on it, right? But this is more with older kids. It's as if their thinking is more tainted. So that's not good. When you're dealing with adults, especially somebody who's racist, right? And all they see is their side of it, they don't see yours. That's not something to be proud of. That shows you have an underdeveloped mentality. So yes. Now we'll go into the fun part of the video, right? So obviously I don't hate Asians. If I say, one of my favorite sushi restaurants, right? I will show off this Japanese bowl. This is real gold plated, right? I got it from Echo Town. And it's not microwave safe. So it proves there's real gold on here because I tried to microwave it. I'm like the kid at home alone. So yeah, almost blew up the house. It's real gold. It's Japanese. I like Japanese. I, for the most part, like Echo Town, right? Do I have to explain all this? No, but I want people to understand I don't hate Asians. Actually, there are reasons to like Asians. Echo Town, because it is the new thrift store other than Goodwill, another thrift store, they buy your stuff, right? So they tend to choose the best of thrift stuff. right? So you're not gonna find this at Goodwill, okay? You're not. So I like Japanese and the rest of the other Asian stuff. At least I know. There are a lot of Asian stuff out there that I don't know, but for the most part, I know all of them, and I like all of them in different ways. Um, and I also dislike them, and that's my personal reason. The reason why I don't like Echo Town is, as much as they want to get money for their stuff, I feel bad when I shop there, knowing that they didn't give a lot of money to somebody who was, had to give up these very nice items. So that's Japanese, okay? Chinese. I don't know about you guys, but I love Chinese food. I love Chinese massages, right? Feet reflexology, hand reflexology, all that. Herbology, acupuncture. I love that. My math teacher, Professor Liu, for statistical probability, she's Chinese. That's something I don't think Facebook paid attention to when I left Facebook. I said she was one of my best teachers. Even though she doesn't have a PhD, she is the clearest and most comprehensive. Like, there's nothing she does not cover within 4 hours. She's great. Filipino, okay? I'm hitting based on Asians in our country. And then on YouTube, they said the Chinese at the time not only contributed to the United States as workers, but they serviced Black people when white people didn't, okay? Filipinos, right? I live with Filipino. I love how they're family oriented. Filipino people are very family. And I'm from Vietnam, right? There's things I don't like about what happened during the Vietnam. I love Vietnamese food. It's probably one of my favorite. And Thai, right? I like anything spicy, exotic, so Vietnamese is at the top. Thai, I would say Muay Thai as far as fighting. They have some pretty badass fighting. And Bok, the guy in the kickboxing, okay? I like him as a fighter. He's a badass fighter. He's crazy. I say he's crazy because he is, but it was in a good way. It wasn't in a hateful, bad way. I think the Thai women, very pretty. Exotic. I've had a lot of friends who are Thai. They're pretty. They're pretty. Different from Indonesia, right? Yesterday when I bought this sandwich, the guy that was making sushi, he was Indonesian. And then Cambodian, right? Khao Mir, that's different. Near, but different than Vietnam. So it's good for you to know all this because, like, you have like the killing field and stuff like that. You need to know your history to understand what's happening to you and how can you rewrite history for yourself and everyone. And even in China, the Chinese, there's Uyghurs, right? Those are like the Muslims. There's some people in China, they refer them as the white Chinese because they are, Uyghurs, Muslims, like how some, not just pure Chinese, right? And you have to understand what Asian means. It's not just the extensive list I put. It could be in the Asia area. It also includes Arabic people between Russia and China. Okay, I saw YouTube. There is areas of, right, the differences in Tibet, right, and China. There's a difference. Um, and some of the wonderful things about those areas. Top of the list, I think recently they found out some teas just in those areas that's supposed to, like, if you don't exercise and you just drink these teas, you will not get fat and have optimal health. Like, how awesome is that, right? But the what I wanted to say is that some Asian, right, stuff that I like in terms of health and beauty. Jade roller, right? Jade roller. So how are these helpful? My sister doesn't think it works, but then my sister doesn't think anything works. How does it work? Because according to one Facebook video, now I believe it's true, that crystals are not only beautiful formations, they are perfect formations, right? So therefore, when you roll it against your skin, it has that effect. Think of like when you're rolling out dough, right? Right? Same thing. You're rolling, and the jade is just kind of helping perfect your skin. It works. Not to mention it feels great. Okay? Jade roller. Chinese. I would say for the Vietnamese, and I need to do it, is tongue scrapers, right? A lot of Americans are like, what's that? It's great. So essentially it's just a metal tongue scraper. And a lot of Vietnamese people have this. And it's one of my favorite beauty hacks when you have dry lips. Because putting on chapsticks or whatever doesn't help. So how does this little tongue scraper work, especially in the metal form? You scrape your lips, right? Like this and this. And it takes off all the dry skin, which I am accumulating. So it's kind of like the callus on your feet. And it will accumulate right here. Could be you have colds. Could be your lipstick is, strange. I can't live without it. My lips starts to chop up and develop skin hair, and it blocks my lipstick. And application of my lipstick doesn't look the best. And, so I scrape my lips. I love it. Can't live without it. It's Asian. Another thing that's Asian is of course, Chinese massage and Japanese, right? Matcha, right? There is a fitness guru on here. He's Caucasian. He went through such a transformation along with his exercise. It was unbelievable. And people said, what's your secret? He said, matcha. That's Japanese. A lot of greens, right? You hear of matcha ice cream, matcha drinks, right? Matcha this and that. Green. It's good for you. Another thing that's Japanese is good for you is these little tapes that you put on your feet to, right, suck out impurities from your feet. That's Japanese. So those are some of the reasons why I like Asians, right? The beauty, the health, um, and who doesn't like, right, the Dalai Lama, right? Right? He's so, and he's just so spiritual and, reminds us to stay rooted and live a simple and humble life, right? In a world that I feel has lost touch with reality. There's a lot of things about the Asian culture that I like. And, Bruce Lee. Um, there's a girl on here called Chloe Bruce. I literally think, maybe I'll upload her photo. I literally think she's like the incarnation. If you believe in that stuff, she's like the incarnation of Bruce Lee, the best of him. Her fighting, you feel like you're watching Bruce Lee. Awesome. Who doesn't like Bruce Lee, right? Chinese. Japanese, right? Long time ago in Bruce Lee's movie, just to show you racism is just horrible. As awesome as Bruce Lee is, long time ago, the Japanese, right? They had a beef against the uh, uh, Chinese, right? Everywhere Bruce Lee would go, they would say he wasn't welcome. And, they were very derogatory and they were saying dogs aren't allowed here. They compared the Chinese to dogs. And then Unit 731, that is actually a hidden history. If you guys want to research it, I might post that because I like exposing, the truth, in God's name to stop bad things happening in our world, where the Japanese experiment on the Chinese. And then thereafter, they targeted the Filipinos, right? Does that mean all Japanese people are bad? No. You can't think like that. You have to take it case by case. But I know a lot about Asian culture. That's my point. And I know there's things why we're paranoid of them right now because we haven't gotten a complete and conclusive answer to what's going on in the coronavirus pandemic, how it would even conclude. But there's reasons why, we should love Asians and why I like them, right? So this is what this video is about. Not only do I like them, I defend them. Believe it or not, the Chinese. I know everybody's like in relationship to hating Asian. They're talking anybody who is of Chinese descent or looks it, right? I'm defending them. And as a matter of fact, my last name, my real last name, because I use an alias one, just to protect myself. I don't want to throw out my IPP out there to everybody. My last name is Huang, Hoang. All right. So there's a girl at my library at Santa Ana College, really good librarian. She has the same last name, and I asked her. I said, "Oh, so you're Vietnamese?" She said, "No, I'm Chinese." And I said, "You are?" And I said, "Why do you have my name?" And she says, "No, I don't have your name." She said, "You have our name. It's actually Chinese. You drop the O and put a U. That's Huang. That's all Chinese." And my name Na, it has a lot about Russians, but the name is itself from China. So it's interesting when you do research. It's kind of how I compare it, like archaeology. You're digging, you're digging for the truth and the facts. right? To find something major or new. It's exciting. And it's exciting for me to think in a world where we don't hate Asians. We don't have to hate anything. How about that? Because I don't think it's a lot of fun to have all that ugly emotions involved with hate, right? I know I don't. I feel it at times, but honestly, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels, right? So remind everybody they have options. So let's run a new campaign where, you don't hate Asians. And here's why. And that's going to be my hashtag for tonight, right? There's a lot of favorite comedians. Like one is Mad that I think he's hysterical. And just some of the things Asians do, like the Chinese, how there's one YouTube, I guess I can list it. But I watch it and it just cracks me up. It's they try to copy Starbucks, and so it's just a compilation of fake stuff from China, and it's called Starfucks. So yes, just some of the things they do is just indirectly funny. Jet Li, right? Who doesn't like Jet Li? There's a lot of things about Asians that's nice, right? Recently, when I left the mall on a final moment, they had an art of crystals, and these crystals were they're worth thousands, and it takes them a lot of time to remake. And it was off of a lost art of Chinese, right? Involving that glass kind of stuff. That's why. But there's a lot of things to like about Asians, and I have a lot of Asian people that I relate to. My last dentist, Dr. Lin, Chinese Christian. And recently I saw him out at Mary's Kitchen. Very nice. My new dentist place, 7-Day Dental in Anaheim. I highly suggest everybody go there for emergency treatment, and they'll make it where you can have the perfect mouth. The owner is Vietnamese. Does that in any way show that I hate Asians? No. Okay. And Facebook knows it. Facebook likes to point their fingers at other people to try to cover up the more wrongdoings on their end, right? It's kind of like me saying, oh, YouTube did it, right? Not me. It's easier that way. So with that said, we're going to run a new campaign, and where the only thing that matters in terms of race is that we race to love each other, to help each other. During the coronavirus pandemic, that's all that the race that we need to worry about. Because in essence, we're running out of time. And I think people forget that, right? So with that said, I will end it here tonight. Peace and love to everyone. And yes, go enjoy some awesome Chinese food. And Panda Express. I love Panda Express. I actually used to work for them at San Amy Place Mall. Yeah. Peace and love and good Chinese food. That's what I'm going to write in my abstract. And I will include a video. All right. Maybe on a recent Asian hate crime. Right. And show you guys what's obviously inappropriate versus what I'm talking about. What's appropriate, all right? With that said, I hope you guys have an awesome night. And remember to turn on your notifications on YouTube. And you're welcome to subscribe. And I wanted to give credit, because that's one of the things my Creator Academy taught me, to give credit to things. So for my new subscribers, I had one at the start, and I was making fun of how my one was to somebody else 10,000 a million. Well, I actually had more subscribers. So those 5 other subscribers, 6 in total, I'm giving credits to you. Wanted to thank you for you to subscribing to me. And it just makes me reminded that when I speak for you too. And it's not just for me. And, I need to take that into consideration. Right? Because sometimes, how we say something to ourselves, like, oh God, I wish I could bitch slap that bitch. But then you realize you're in a court of law. You're like, oh, that's not an appropriate thing to say in front of the police, right? So it's good to have subscribers because, they can kind of help motivate me and hold account of me, right? So I don't go insane on YouTube. Somebody out there, please remind me, if I do ever, start to be like that and start, hunting down. And I have to admit, in other videos, I do give a thumbs down too, but it's usually because it's not because I don't like the maker or the channel. I don't like the issue, right? Like recently, I just saw a video that YouTube posted at that. I didn't like it. The subject, not the creator or YouTube or anything else. It was about how this boyfriend ripped out the intestines of his girlfriend. How do you like that? So I was like, that's horrible. That's the only reason I don't like the topic. It's not that I don't like the person, you see. So there's a difference. But I never, ever, I honestly have to say, never, ever have I ever been online. And I don't know, I prefer the days that I never was online. But I have never, gone out of my way to make a comment, right, that is, creates a conflict out of nothing. I've never done that. I've never done that. And I'm proud of it. And most of the videos that I posted, even in my last channel, they were in question. And I think that's why YouTube was like, you want to take this Creator Academy? Because you really suck. And a borderline, gonna be ready to get kicked off of YouTube. I was telling people, get the hell off of my channel if you don't like it. Just going off the deep end. But yes, I have to reconnect with the Creator Academy, and I don't know if it's somewhere in the YouTube or after you make so many live streams, YouTube sends you that opportunity, but I have to research that. But like I said, for tonight, peace, love, and good Chinese food. Right? Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like that? All right? So let's keep a balanced perspective on the coronavirus pandemic. our paranoia, right, of the Chinese people and all that, right? With that said, thank you to my subscribers. I will actually go out of my way to see who they are and probably post their name in the live chat to give them credit and welcome more people to subscribe, right? The more people, the merrier, right? So with that said, peace, love, and great Chinese food. Panda Express. If you're lucky, find a good, authentic, all-you-can-eat buffet. All right? With that said, take care, everyone.